We're doing this video, and I've reported on it incessantly over the years, many years back. In fact, we talked about Obama drone striking Syria and toppling Syria before it even happened, is to do justice to the lives lost. All the innocent men, women, and children killed, murdered, maimed, dismembered, slaughtered, emotionally traumatized by the West and her allies. This is absolutely tragic. Now, I want you to keep in mind, it's Hillary, rotten, criminal, crooked Clinton who wanted a no-fly zone in Syria. In fact, they're the ones that have been arming the terrorists on the ground for some time now that created ISIS in the first place, that moved weapons of war from Libya, which made up Benghazi Gate, after taking out Muammar Gaddafi and brutally murdering him and basically lifting the top of that boiling pot of water so it overflowed, which has resulted in all this trauma that created ISIS in the first place, that created this new faction of radical Islamic terrorism and jihadism in the name of Islamic State. I mean, it didn't even freaking exist. I mean, Hillary Clinton, she was at the debates not too long ago saying, well, I want a no-fly zone in Syria, which meant World War freaking III with Russia and China and the BRICS. Yet the radical left accuses Donald Trump of being some kind of like Russian spy or agent in cahoots with Putin. So let me get this straight. Peace is bad with Russia? Somehow working with enemy nations, which we have a long history of the Cold War and all these problems. Somehow peace is bad, according to the mainstream boob tube and the mainstream media. So, first of all, you need to understand that clearly the agenda was the Obama agenda and the Hillary Clinton agenda. This is why they've been arming ISIS. This is why they transferred all those weapons of war. It's why they've been funding them. It's why they staged the Ghouta chemical attack in Syria in 2013. That was staged. Okay, Carla Del Ponte of the United Nations, as well as Seymour Hersh, Pulitzer Prize winner, have shed tremendous light on this. Instead of the accusation being that it was Assad using chemical weapons on his own people, it was actually the Western-backed rebels, you know, the moderates, really the radical terrorists on the ground, that actually perpetrated that heinous chemical attack. Now, I want you to keep this in mind. And there's an argument over how many people are dead. Some reports say 470,000 plus, some say over 500,000. I've read some reports that say that death toll is approaching the millions. That's how many freaking people have been slaughtered as a result of the Obama agenda and Hillary Clinton's plans in this part of the world. And I brought this up initially with the Ghouta chemical attack. I mean, why would Assad attack his own people only to give the West reason to strike them with missiles? I mean, think about this for a minute. There is no way on God's green earth that Assad would attack himself. That was my original argument, and there's so much truth to that. It's the same argument that Seymour Hersh argued, and he's also pointed out, by the way, that the Osama bin Laden raid is a total farce. It's a total freaking lie by the Obama administration, and it's total bullshit. And again, don't take it from me. Take it from a Pulitzer Prize winner. So again, back to that question, why would Assad attack himself? Now, I want to make something clear. In no way am I saying Bashar al-Assad is a good man or a good guy. In no way did I ever say that Muammar Gaddafi was a good guy. He wasn't. They're despots. They are dictators. They're really bad people. And yes, they do kill their own people. But while the West has been allegedly wanting to stop the bloodshed and potential killing of innocent civilian lives and get rid of Assad, in the process, they've murdered over 500,000 freaking people. I want you to think about that for a minute. So the whole idea is to stop the bloodshed, to take out the dictator Bashar al-Assad, who's killing his own people, to take out people like Muammar Gaddafi, only so the United States can intervene, meddle illegally in a sovereign government, which has since resulted in the deaths of arguably, well, factually, it's just we don't know where the numbers are. At the very least, close to 500,000 people dead. Bravo, America. Yeah, great job. Yeah, you guys are just wonderful. You see, the whole agenda in this part of the world has been to destabilize, which is why we invaded Iraq. It's why we invaded Afghanistan. It's why we've seen revolution in places like Egypt, in Yemen. It's why the Central Intelligence Agency orchestrated, intelligence agencies here in the United States orchestrated the Arab Spring. And it's why they attempted to destabilize Bashar al-Assad in Syria, because here's the bigger picture. The United States of America wants war with Russia, with Vladimir Putin, and China. Now, this is why it's such a win with Trump in office, because he wants to de-escalate these tensions. I mean, look how the mainstream media is painting this right now with Rex Tillerson, CEO of ExxonMobil. They're like, oh, he's a friend of Putin. That must be a bad thing. How is that bad? How is peace bad? Isn't that what the radical left supposedly wants? Isn't that what the Clinton News Network supposedly wants? You know, showing us these propaganda images of the Aleppo boy, which is totally staged. They just like got a bunch of cameras in. They're like, hey, Wolfie Blitzer and Anderson Pooper, let's set this up. Let's get some cameras, let's get some lighting, and stage a boy in an ambulance. And just sit him there bloodied and bleeding. Let's not even help him. Let's just get him there and take a good picture of him so we can use it as propaganda here in the United States of America. We all remember that. And it's the same thing they're doing with this girl. Her name is Bana, I think, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Bana, forgive me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. But there's allegedly these tweets coming from Aleppo, from like a 7-year-old girl or something like that, where she's like, hey, I'm dying. This is my last day to live. I don't know if I'm going to be murdered tomorrow. Like, please help us. And it's totally staged, and it's totally propaganda, just like all this propaganda we've seen before. I mean, she even has a verified Twitter account. I want you to think about this for a minute. AMTV has close to 100 million views across social media. 100 freaking million views. And we're not a verified account. We think about this for a minute. We're not even verified. Hundreds of millions of eyeballs, and I'm not who I say I am. But I am fake news, according to the Washington Post and Jeff Bezos. Right? We're not even verified. But this little girl who's conveniently being used as a propaganda tool of the West so that, you know, they can promote the war. She's a verified account, right? Bullshit. Lies. Total illusion. Now, the reason they're spinning this right now, and Assad's which he rightfully should. It's a freaking sovereign nation, folks. It's why he's taking back his own country. The United States is freaking intervening. He's taking it back. He's every freaking right to do that. Who doesn't have a right to do anything in this nation is the United States of America. Just like all these other countries that, by the way, had nothing to do with September 11, 2001, and the staged terror attack that was at all. Iraq had nothing to do with it, nor did Afghanistan. Saudi Arabia does, but of course they finance people like Hillary Clinton and Qatar. Both of those countries finance, you know, people like Hillary Clinton, so of course we're not at war with them. So they're staging all of this right now because the big shocker was that Donald Trump won. Now they can't continue this mission to blow up the whole world, essentially, and start a new world war with countries like Russia and China. That now they're doing this spin job, this manufactured mainstream media spin job right now, so that hopefully it spirals out of control, at least in their eyes, so that it'll force the hand of even Donald Trump. He's going to have to go in there, and it's going to have to, it'll eventually escalate to the point where there's got to be war, where they can't stop it, where there's even more and more bloodshed. You know, everything we're talking about here, folks, is the truth. It's not my opinion. It's factually based. And what's really sad about it is there is a civilian humanitarian crisis in this part of the world, and people are dying, and people are bloodied, and people are hurt, and people are maimed, and there are children suffering, and all of this is very real. But the question you need to ask is who's responsible? I think the answer is pretty clear. You know, it's sad to say as an American, somebody that loves this country, our Constitution, and our republic, that it's our own government that is responsible for the murder of all these people, that is responsible for millions dead in the Middle East. Tens of thousands of innocent Americans that were sold the lie to go fight on the front lines on behalf of the United States of America on bullshit, on fake truths, fake news. Right? It's the mainstream media propagating fake news, lies. And it's why they've lost control, essentially. And it's why there's the clampdown and there's the censorship and all these things, because they've lost control. And they have a very serious agenda, folks. They want world war. And I don't think that's off the table. They want more people dead. They want depopulation. They want total totalitarian control. They want George Orwell's worst nightmare. What do you think these things are? We've already been freaking chipped. You already have the mark of the beast. People are like, oh, it's so cool. It's such an awesome device. That's the truth about Aleppo, Syria, guys. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Get it out everywhere. Make it viral, hard-hitting in your face. Put your comment, question in the box below. And thank you again for your tremendous support. I'm Christopher Green. This is AMTV, Alternative Media Television. Peace.